will make you black out. You will be unconscious if you mess with this rocket horse. However, I am afraid of horses, so I may be a little biased there. Thank you for subscribing to Lysergic Facts. Additional text messaging rates may apply. What's up, YouTube? Lysergic here, and welcome back to Star Citizen. Today, we are going to be taking a look at this pretty little number right in front of you here, and her name is the GLADIUS. The GLADIUS is manufactured by Aegis Dynamics, and I have been very, very excited to get this ship in my hangar, and she's finally here. The GLADIUS came out as part of the 1.1 update to Arena Commander, which included the new damage system, the GLADIUS, and the Retaliator in the hangar. And for the last couple weeks, about 2 weeks, I have been playing with the GLADIUS, getting real familiar with her, getting to know her real well, so that I could do a video about it and tell you how she performs. And I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to say it right off the bat. You guys might not like it, but the GLADIUS is the Hornet killer. Boom. Drop the mic. Fuck out of there. That's it. Review over. The GLADIUS is the Hornet killer. Now, asterisk. There's a little disclaimer with calling the GLADIUS the Hornet killer. It's small. It's fragile. But it's fast as a motherfucker. And excuse my language, but that's just how it is. This is a very fast ship, and it is ready to get down dirty and do some business. You have to be a capable pilot if you want to take the GLADIUS into combat against the Hornet and come out on top. But if you are a capable pilot, and believe me, I'm not a very capable pilot, and I can do it, you can pilot your GLADIUS to victory against a Super Hornet that is fully kitted out. And that's because of the engines on the back of this ship. This thing is so fast and pretty to boot. It's not bad to look at. I like the, the military green, all that, but that's besides the point. The GLADIUS is so fast that this thing is a blackout machine. That is all you do in the GLADIUS is blackout. As soon as you tap that boost button, which I'm gonna, we'll get to the combat footage later, but as soon as you tap that boost button, you're well on your way to blacking out or red it out. So you got to be very, very careful about that. But it comes with an advantage. The ship is so damn fast, and it can accelerate from 0 to 100 so quick that you really don't have to worry about ships that are bigger and badder than you, because you can get behind them very easily. And I'll be explaining later the technique that I use with the space brake that makes it so easy to stay right up behind somebody and not give them the time to maneuver and get a good view on you, get a good line of sight on you to blow you out of the sky. So before we get into the nitty-gritty, the real good stuff, I just want to take a general look at the outside, the exterior of the GLADIUS. And you can see right off the bat that the nose has, some really nice lines to it. I kind of got it out of frame here. I am recording this in post. But right at the front of the nose, you got this badass Gatling gun. That's called the Scorpion. And the Scorpion is not quite as powerful as the nose gun on the Avenger, but she still packs quite a punch. And I wouldn't want to be on the wrong end of it. And right now I have two Omniskys on the wings. They're not shown here because I'm going to show you my setup process in a minute. And coming around to the back of the ship, like I said, so many cool lines. I love the little canard wings on the end of the main body wings. And then you got two little fins coming up off the top there. The engines are gorgeous. I really like the sleek, oval type rounded, what do they call them, Squircle, square rectangle engines. And then coming around the other side, it's a bit more the same thing. They got that really cool, like, I'm not sure what to really call it. It's like a block on the bottom of the ship, and that's got some wings on it on the bottom. I'm not sure if that's a secondary engine or something else, but it looks like it has some kind of functionality to it. I'm not quite sure what it is. But other than that, I think the GLADIUS is a really sleek-looking ship, and I certainly enjoy flying it, and I think it looks badass in action. So, with that all said, let's hop into the holo table. I'm going to show you what I got set up on the ship. Show you what our GLADIUS is packing. So here we are with the holo table, and I didn't do much to the GLADIUS. It's really simple. What I did was I took off the laser repeaters that come on its stock, and I slapped some Omniskys on that baby. You can't use size 7s, Omnisky 7, yeah, that's what it is, because they're only size 1 mounts. So you're going to have to buy a gimbal mount, and thanks to the new gimbal system, which I explained in my Arena Commander 1.1 video, you can buy gimbal mounts from the rec store, and you can slap them on any size 2 mount, and it'll allow you to mount a size 1 gimbal weapon. So that means if you want to rock all gimbal weapons, you're going to be going with a size penalty, so you'll have less of a punch, which actually makes sense because a gimbal mount is big and heavy. So to put a gimbaled weapon versus a fixed weapon on a ship, you're going to have to go with something a little smaller. So like I said, you just got to buy the gimbal mounts from the rec store. I'm not sure if you could buy them permanently, but they're not very expensive. Rec is actually pretty easy to get. You can get like you know, a couple thousand in just one game of Team Deathmatch or whatever. And you're gonna put those little gimbal pucks, I think they're called. Yeah, gimbal pucks, and slap those on your wings and attach Omniskys 3 size 1 laser cannons to them. And the Omniskys are absolutely the reason I made this choice. I might as well you know, that might help tell you why I made the choice. Is because with 3 gimbal weapons on the Gladius, it's good to go with a slower rate of fire, hard-hitting weapon for your wing mounts, for the reason that you have the big-ass Scorpion on the nose gun, which is an awesome gun for a size 2. It's excellent to needle away at your enemy, and then every time you get a good line of sight on him, you slam him a couple times with the Omniskys, and that puts him out real quick. See, I was trying to mount a size 2 gun on there, but it ain't going to let you. So the Omniskys are your best choice, and that's what you're going to want to go with for the Gladius. So now that we've got everything all set up, and I told you how I got my ship running, got my loadout all ready to go, we're going to jump into some combat footage. I'm going to tell you guys what my experiences was the last couple weeks dogfighting with the Gladius, how I like it, and how you can, you know, pilot the Gladius to the best of your ability. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. How does the Gladius fare in combat? Well, I would say that the Gladius kind of acts like a badass horse with a rocket strapped to its ass, because it's so fast that it's always trying to throw you out of the ship and always trying to throw you for a loop. Every time you hit that boost button, or every time you kick the horse to make it go faster, you got to be careful about that, because it will make you black out. You will be unconscious if you mess with this rocket horse. However, I am afraid of horses, so I may be a little biased there. Thank you for subscribing to Lysergic Facts. Additional text messaging rates may apply. Please consult a physician if you have a boner lasting more than 14 hours. I kid. I'm sorry. So, anyway, I think the best strategy in my experience, which I've been flying the ship for a couple weeks, you know, pretty frequently, is your best bet is to be very liberal with your space break. As you can see right now, I'm already starting to black out, not even doing that crazy of maneuvers, and that's because the Gladius's acceleration is so high. So as soon as you're entering a turn, the Gladius is trying to push you into the turn as hard as it can, especially if you have comm stab off, and that's going to stop you from not blacking out. You're going to black out because it's pushing into that turn so hard. I would suspect that they're probably going to nerf the blackout ability, whatever you want to call it, on the Gladius in the near future, but I'm doing this video from the perspective of what's the best way to fly the Gladius right now. So my advice is to definitely be very liberal with your space brake, and not to be afraid to hit on the space brake instead of turning, or to decouple instead of turning, because if you turn under engine power, you're going to end up blacking out. I would say that it absolutely is a bit too overkill, and it should be turned down at least a little bit, because like I said, it's some pretty intense blackout action every time you get in the seat of the Gladius. But with that out of the way, I just wanted to say that first and foremost, so that you know how to fly the thing before you go to try to shoot anybody in it. Because the first time you try to, you know, do a backflip or a turn, especially pitch is way easier to black out than yaw. So make sure you use your yaw. But the first time you go to do that backflip or pitch to get a better line of sight on somebody, you will absolutely get blown up. So right now I'm gonna do some you know, outside footage of the ship to show you what the cool little damage system looks like, and talk about the best way to use the setup that I selected in the holo table. With those Omniskys on the wings, they act like sniper rifles. You will see in the rest of the video how well, oh look, I got killed there, just trying to show off the cool damage system. Look at all the little pretty parts. Anyway, you will see how well the Omniskys do in the, you know, in the upcoming combat footage. It is completely nasty. The Gladius is fully capable of sniping out a Vandal with a couple shots from, you know, about 1,500 meters away if you zoom in with your little mouse wheel there. So we'll kick it off with some footage of me on wave 5 and 6. I think this is some good footage to show because it was high octane action. I had a lot of targets after me. And the reason I always use Vandal Swarm is because it's just such a pain in the ass right now with the server issues to get any footage of actual team deathmatch or anything like that. And it's easier for me to show off things that I want to show off rather than have to load into a game every time, and it's just really difficult. So, as I'm attacking this Vandal over here, my buddy, making sure to use the Omniskys first. That's because that's the bigger crosshair. the bigger crosshair is going to be your Omniskys, and that's what you want to use when you're lining up those sniper shots. And they're really, really easy to hit, honestly. You just want to keep that mid dot right there. See, one hit when he was real close to me, bang, blew him to pieces. And it's very, very useful to put the Omniskys, to run the Omniskys with this ship, because the Scorpion and the Omniskys comment each other very, very well. Very well, and I absolutely love this setup. It actually works better, I would say, in Arena Commander than it does even in Vandal Swarm. Because when you're playing in Vandal Swarm, the Vandal like to pull these like crazy maneuvers that only AI could really pull off. And the Scythes are very agile. And I would say that the Vandal actually pull better maneuvers than most players, you know. Players are harder to fight because they got more teeth and they do more damage. But I would say that the Vandal pull off a lot more complicated maneuvers and do weirder, crazier shit that you would not expect a human being to do. So sometimes it's a little different. But either way, whether you're playing against a player or the Vandal, like I said before, you want to be very liberal with your space break, because if you turn the way I'm turning now under engine power, you're going to end up blacking out, and it's going to be hard to hit your target, for sure, no doubt about that. So another little tip I have for using the Scorpion is that it does not do as much damage as the Avenger's nose gun, but that does not mean that the nose gun is weak, or, you know, it's gonna take too long, the time to kill is gonna be too high. It is absolutely nasty if you're close enough to land every hit. So that's why I chose the Omniskys, because when you're real close up, I don't use much of it in this video, but as you can see, when I was hitting him with all three, it absolutely tore him to pieces, and that goes for players just as well as it goes for any AI, because the nose gun absolutely tears them apart if you're using it in combination with the Omniskys. If you're just using the nose gun, and hopefully avoiding blacking out like you see on screen now, it's going to take a little bit longer to kill them, of course, than with the Omniskys, but it's very useful for especially spot reducing their ship to a pile of fucking space dust, because if you're real close, that nose gun, it's very easy to aim. Very, very, very easy to aim, very predictable curve. The projectile speed, I think, is a lot higher than the Avenger nose gun as well, because I found this Gatling gun much easier to aim than the Avenger. And the reason I keep making these comparisons between Gladius and Avenger is because the Avenger and the Gladius function in much of the same way, in that they're not as tough as a Hornet, but they're so fast and so maneuverable that you could absolutely boom and zoom a Hornet, or even stay right up behind him with the space break technique that I use to stay right behind him and not let them get, you know, any sustained fire on you. They might hit you, pick a little health off you here and there, but if you're using the space break and the boost properly to stay right up behind them and not let them get any sustained fire on you, they won't hit you as much as you're hitting them, and you'll be sitting there nailing them the whole time because you're so maneuverable. It's really, really very useful, much more useful than I make it look, because I am not the best flyer, and I had a lot of trouble getting good footage. So what you're about to see here is something that happens to me a whole lot. I stopped shooting at that guy because the pieces flew off of him, and I seen the damage feed on the bottom, and I thought I had killed him, but he wasn't dead yet. That's I guess that's a tip. I mean, so a little tip is to make sure that you don't get distracted by the little pieces of the ship that go flying off left and right, because sometimes I follow them thinking it's them, or I think, oh, okay, I killed that guy. So you got to be careful with that. Make sure you are, you know, fully aware of if you killed the guy or not, because in the persistent universe, that can mean life or death, man. And that's another thing that I wanted to actually touch on, is that people are so concerned about balance in Arena Commander and not crashing into debris of dead Vandal scavengers, but people are so concerned with balance in Arena Commander, and it's not really the main focus, and it kind of bothers me that people complain about it so much, because I know you guys want to have a playable game now, and you guys want to have a good experience playing the game now, but so much of this shit is not going to apply in any way, shape, or form when you're actually in the persistent universe and you have a goal, you have a quest you're on, you have a destination to get to, you have a trade to make, you have a cargo hold full of, you know, money. You're not going to be just worried about who's got the best dogfighting performance, or whose guns are too balanced, or which ship blacks out too fast. Because this is a team deathmatch environment, or a deathmatch environment, where the only goal is go kill people. And that's not really what the persistent universe is going to be like at all. More importantly, the whole goal of the persistent universe, if you're trying to attack somebody, is most likely going to be, unless they have a bounty on their head, is going to be to get their cargo, or to take them if they have a bounty. You know, you have to get them alive unless they have a, you know, a dead or alive bounty on their head. But most of the time, if someone's going to be attacking you out of nowhere in the persistent universe, it's going to be to get your cargo. And that means they're not going to try to kill you, or they're going to blow you up and lose all of your sweet, sweet space gold. You know what I mean? They're going to be trying to disable your ship and then possibly board you. So it might be more important to have, you know, a baseball bat sitting by your cockpit seat than to have, you know, the most balanced ship. You know, the stuff that people are bitching about in Arena Commander now. So really, my point of what I'm saying, I suppose, is just try to look at the bigger picture and think about what's going to be relevant to the game as a whole. You know, what's actually going to change the flow of the game in general. Like the missile system is a valid complaint, not the, you know, the balance of the Gladius and how all these little tiny intricacies work in Arena Commander. I would be more worried about the signal system developing properly and the new damage system than little tiny balance issues of, oh, the sledges are too strong. Yeah, I could have used sledges in this video, but like I said, I think that the best way to go is to use the Omniskys, and the sledges are certainly going to be nerfed. That's why I wanted to kind of talk about the whole balance thing, is because everyone's like, the sledge is ruining the game. That needs to be priority number one, is to nerf the sledge right goddamn now. And it's like, seriously, that's not what the developers should be worrying about. Think about how many times they changed the flight model in Arena Commander in a short period of time. When Arena Commander first came out, we were like, oh, we don't have proper depth of field. We want proper depth of field. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm saying depth of field. It's because something that starts with DOF. We don't have proper 6 degrees of freedom, 6 DOF. We want proper 6 DOF. So what they do? They tried to implement 6 DOF in the way that they thought was best. What happened? We didn't like it. So they changed it again. And then we had more problems with the shaking and stuff like that and the sliding. So they changed it again. That's when they implemented ComStab and G-Safe in the way that it's implemented now. They changed the entire flight model like 4 or 5 times because that's how we wanted it, and that's an actual integral experience to the game that affects the big picture. Not, oh, right now the sledge is overpowered, so you need to change the sledge right now. Everybody, you know, we need our best men on it. So I don't know why I really went on this crazy rant, but I think the whole point of it was just to say that don't worry about the little tiny balance issues of the Gladius, like the blacking out. More importantly, think of the role that you're going to use this ship in. How are you going to use it in the persistent universe to do what you want to do? And that's why I made this video, because right now I think the best way to use it is to put 2 Omniskys on it and kick some serious ass, because that's definitely what the Gladius is good at. It's a fast, agile fighter, and it is completely capable of wrecking Hornets in PvP. So I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to detail, I kind of went over most of it already, but I'm going to detail exactly for my strategy for killing Hornets, and I'm going to tell you guys how to do it. Okay kids, sit down, gather around, and I'm going to tell you how it's going to go down. Hornet Genocide 101. How to destroy the Hornet you come across in a Gladius. First thing you're going to do is, I know I've said it a million times, but you have to take advantage of your maneuverability and use your space brake. As you can see, I'm using missiles on the screen. That's number 2. Use your missiles. Pop them right away. And I'm going to be using this Hornet strategy as if you were going to be in the persistent universe, not in Arena Commander, but it definitely applies for Arena Commander. In the persistent universe, you want to conserve your missiles, you know, for any, you know, last-ditch effort situation you're going to need to pop off some missiles, scare somebody away, or just damage them enough so that you can escape. However, when you come across a Hornet, your missiles are your best friend. You need to get them on the defensive. You don't want them getting any sort of concentrated fire on you, or they're going to tear you to pieces, because the Gladius is fairly fragile, especially for the amount of firepower it has. So you need to do at all costs whatever it takes to get you into a situation where they cannot get any sort of concentrated fire on you, and you can be laying down all the fire you want. Luckily, with the maneuverability we have in this ship, it's totally possible. Now, the best way to do that is circle strafing and using your space brake. So you want to get out. Usually I go to the right for whatever reason. So you want to boost straight out and to the right and strafe right with the E key, or whatever your strafe key is with if you're using a HOTAS. Strafe out with the E key and boost to the right. And you're going to go out and around them. And then once you're about 90 degrees from them, you want to continue strafing right and go right towards the back of their ship while you're firing off your missiles. You want to be firing off your missiles immediately as you do this to get them to try to break and disengage from you and start to turn away. Because once they turn away or they back up, you know, they try to do the whole decouple and back up, fly backwards thing, you're good to go. Keep popping off those missiles as fast as you can. I would suggest getting fast missiles, not long lock on time missiles, so you can just keep popping them off, You're going to be at close range anyway. So keep popping off the missiles, don't give them a chance. Strafe around them to the right, and at this whole time you want to be lighting them up. Now once you get in an advantageous positions, whether you're above, below, or behind them, you want to get up close to them as close as possible so that they can't turn around and, like I said, focus fire on you. You want to get very close to them, and when you do get close, use your space brake. That's very, very important to the whole plan here. When you get close, you got to use your space brake immediately so that you stop right behind them. This is the part where you're unloading into them with those Omniskys and your Scorpion. By this point, usually most of them are dead, but you know, there's going to be situations where you miss, you can't get any hits with missiles, they're dropping all their flares. You're probably going to not get any hits with the missiles anyway, but it's good to put them on the defensive in the first place. If you have any missiles left, now is the time to fire them. So like I said, you want to either strafe down or to the right, get around to them, fire off missiles to put them on the defensive, and then close in from the bottom, the top, or the back. Once you're in that position, like I said, focus fire, make sure you're maneuvering so that they are not getting their nose towards you. You can totally do it, trust me. I am not by any means a very good pilot, and you can totally do it, because once you're up close to them like that, they're going to be boosting, they're going to be trying to turn around and joust with you or turn around and fly backwards. And if they turn around and fly backwards, you want to hit F to boost down and try to boost under them. So like imagine like a T, and if the Hornet is facing to the right and you are on the bottom of the T facing to the right as well, the top of your ship is facing to the right, you want to hold F and boost under them. So they're flying backwards facing right, your cockpit is on the top facing to the right, and you're boosting under them as they're trying to fly backwards and joust with you. And when you do this, you'll end up in almost like a circle strafe position where you can circle around them, you know, in a perpendicular orientation to them, circle around them and keep firing at them. That's a strategy I use in multiplayer dogfight and Arena Commander a lot, and it's immensely useful in the Gladius. Like I said, I am not by any means a very strong pilot, and it works out really, really well for me. And trust me, I mean, I'm not going to repeat the whole thing. I like to repeat myself, and I'm not going to repeat that entire spiel there. But trust me, you can do it. And if you didn't catch the whole gist of it, like I said, go back and listen to what I said a couple times and just try to follow that advice when you're facing a Hornet, and you will be able to take them down one-on-one, I promise you. I have used the Gladius and Arena Commander for the last 3 weeks pretty heavily, and like I said, I can take out Hornets this way almost without fail. You know, if it's a one-on-one fight. If it's more than one-on-one, totally different story. You want to boom and zoom. But one-on-one with a Hornet, you can do it. You can take them out, I promise. So guys, I hope that's useful for you. I didn't really touch on the missiles of the Gladius that much, but the single platforms are okay. They take a long time to lock. I really don't like them. And the double platform, the heat-seeking missiles, not the Wi-Fi missiles as I like to call them. The heat-seeking missiles are very useful from close range, and if you know that they're not going to miss and have to come around for another pass. So that's that for the missiles, and that's that for the Gladius review. I think I've said all I have to say about this ship. I immensely enjoyed piloting it for the last week or so. Like I said, I was waiting for this ship to come out for a long time, and it was exactly what I wanted it to be. It's a single-seat dogfighter with a shitload of teeth, super agile, and it's a blast to fly. I would definitely recommend buying it if you have maybe an Aurora or a 300 series, and or even if you have a larger ship and you have a dedicated fighter, but you're not liking the Hornet, you don't want to spring for the Hornet because it's so dedicated to fighting that it can't really do anything else. At least the Gladius will still be a good, fun cruise-around ship, you know, in my opinion at least. But as I get blown to pieces by the Vandal, like died right there. So I'm going to call it here. That's going to do it for the Gladius review today, guys. Once again, I hope you enjoyed. As always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, if you have any more questions about the Gladius, if there's something that I didn't cover that you wanted to learn, or just if you have any questions for me in general, feel free to ask. I always love talking about Star Citizen and anything. You guys can talk to me about anything, alright? So that's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You know, please like, subscribe, send me Reddit Gold, whatever you want to do to show your appreciation. I will absolutely appreciate you right back. So tune in next time for more Star Citizen, more Elite Dangerous. I've got a whole bunch of really good stuff coming up planned, and I think you guys will enjoy. So subscribe so you don't miss out, please. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys. Lysergic, signing out. You're gonna go to the record store. You're gonna give them all your money. Radio plays what they want you to hear. I just don't believe it.